Okay, now you can see that I have 4 strings in the front, and when I bring this up I'll have 5, so I'll be done with these two. I'll be done with this hole and I can move on to the signatures. So before I move on to the signatures, I'm just going to continue my pattern and thread my needle underneath this last crisscross. And guide it over to the back. And now I am going to open up the middle of this first signature here. And I'll turn around so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to thread my needle in through the signature, the first signature here, and thread it out to the front from the inside to the outside. And I'm going to do my best to make sure that my needle doesn't thread through the Coptic stitch. I want it to go above the Coptic stitch. There we go. So you can see my needle is there above the Coptic stitch and not interfering with it. I'm going to thread that through, and then I'm going to grab this last crisscross that I just did, and I'm going to thread my needle underneath it. I'm continuing the same pattern. I know I've said this many times, but don't fret, just continue the same pattern. And I'm going to pull it taut, and I'm going to go through the next signature, making sure my needle doesn't thread through that Coptic stitch. From the inside out, I'm threading it. And because this crisscross doesn't look like much of a crisscross, I'm going to make sure that my needle is thread underneath the last 2 strings. These 2 strings right here. These are the last ones. Thread from the inside out, and then guide it over to the next signature. Threading my needle through these last 2 strings, which are now starting to look like a little crisscross. From the inside out. And then guiding it to the next signature. And just keep going until you get to the last hole of the last signature.